First year of the 12-team college football playoff, Brant. The bracket is set. I will turn this over to you.
Yeah, absolutely, Dave. Looking forward to this weekend. This is the first weekend that we've ever had of the 12-team playoff. It's going to be awesome. We're kind of done with the meaningless bowl games, I feel like, Dave. Like, we are going to get our very good helping of great college football to end the season. And I want to start right now, Dave, with the Friday game, which I think you and I have currently already talked about. Maybe the game of the weekend. Indiana, the Hoosiers, making their first playoff appearance ever. Basically, their biggest bowl game that they've ever been invited to. Take going into South Bend, taking on the Fighting Irish. Who do you like in that game, Dave? And kind of just give me a quick reason why.
Well, I'm going to take Notre Dame. I will be pulling for Indiana. I'm going to be pulling for most of the upsets here, but I will take Notre Dame because the argument against Notre Dame is that their best win is what against like USC in recent memory or Texas A&M in the beginning of the year.
Yeah, Texas A&M probably.
Sure. So those are your two biggest wins, and people will say that about Notre Dame. That'll be their criticism. However, Brant, what's the criticism against Indiana? It's the exact same thing, right? And the one game that they had to show up and show out against Ohio State kept it close in the first half, and then it ended up in a bloodbath. And so I think they're similar in some ways. I'll be pulling for Indiana. Won't be surprised at an upset, but I'm going to take Notre Dame here. I think they're tougher. I think they're going to just be more prepared.
Yeah, Dave, I'm going to ride with you on this one. I really want to pick Indiana here, and I think this game is down to the wire. I think this thing is close. I love Indiana's quarterback. I've talked about him all year. I love Rourke. I just think Notre Dame has a clear identity of what they want to do right now, and I can't get out the bad taste in my mouth of what happened to Indiana at Ohio State. I can't shake that, and for that reason, I will roll with Notre Dame in a close one. Let's move over to the SMU Penn State game real quick, Dave. Do you like the way that Penn State is set up right now? And I know their path is probably the easiest, but let's go SMU Penn State.
Just a quick sidebar on that. This bracket is absolutely ridiculous. There is one side of the bracket you want to be on and another side you don't want to be on. And it is quite embarrassing that the number one team in the country in Oregon gets the hardest pathway to a national championship. So all of that being said, look, this is James Franklin in big game territory. What do I think of James Franklin in any type of big game? He folds. However, SMU is a beatable opponent. I do buy Penn State's defense to slow SMU up. And look, Penn State finally showed some life. And they've been an average offense all year, but look, I didn't expect them to throw up 37 points or whatever it was against Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. I don't know if that was a fluke. I kind of feel like it was and got into a little bit of a shootout, but it pains me to say it, but I'm going to take Penn State here. What about you?
Dave, I will also go with Penn State. I really hate that we're agreeing on everything, but I'm also with you on the fact of I think SMU just doesn't have enough to get over this Penn State hump. They've never been in a place like Happy Valley. I think that is a big difference too. Noon game, sure it's going to be a whiteout, whatever you want to say about it. I don't love the fact that I've got to ride with James Franklin here, but I will take Penn State to get it done. Okay, Dave. Tennessee, Ohio State, night game in Columbus. Who do you like in this matchup?
There's no way in the world I'm picking Ohio State. I do think that my football brain tells me that Ohio State is the better team. I think their defense is elite, and their offense. I mean, we know what Ohio State brings to the table. However, I am just preying on the Ryan Day downfall, and for that reason, I'm going to choose Tennessee to win this game in Columbus. If Ryan Day is not fired at the end of that game, which it sounds like their AD has paved the way for that not to happen, I fully anticipate that Ryan Day steps aside and maybe moves to the NFL or does something else. So I am this is the game I care the most about. Go Tennessee. What about you?
Yeah, Dave. I think Ryan Day and Ohio State are completely shook right now. I think if this thing starts to go sideways, and I know Ohio State fans are so upset with Kirk Herbstreit saying what he said about this could actually be a home field disadvantage if they get down 7 to 14 points. I completely agree with that sentiment, and I think that Tennessee has a great defensive line. I don't see how the Bucks get this done. I love Tennessee in this spot. So go Vols. And then I'm going to go Texas, Clemson, Dave. Who do you like in this matchup?
I think this is going to be a really good game. I think Kate Klubnik has played very well. I think the Texas offense has sputtered a bit lately over Quinn Ewers or with Quinn Ewers. Look, Texas has the guys there to get this done. They have a good enough team, in my opinion, to win the national championship this year. Um, I think this is going to be a very, very close game. I have been high on Texas all year. However, I'm going to pick my first true upset of this bracket, and I'm going to say that Clemson gets this done and that Dabo Sweeney finds a way to outcoach Sark in this one, which is going to kill Texas fans after what they believe, was the season to be for them. But I'm going to roll with Clemson in this one. What about you?
Dave, this is an absolute true toss up. And you know what I'm going to turn this bracket into that we're doing? We're just going to call this Garage Takes bracket, and we're going to do this together. So I'm going to ride with Clemson with you. I love the Cade Klubnik shout out. Let's just do this, man. Let's knock the rest of this out. Let's go Clemson, Arizona State right off the rip here.
That's an easy one. I'll ride Clemson right through Arizona State. Do like their quarterback. I'm still rolling with Clemson. They're going to be kind of my upset pick here.
I love Dabo in matchups like this. Like I am with you on that. I'm not gonna fight you hard on this one. I think that Arizona State feels a little one trick pony with Scatabo.
Mm-hmm.
Great running back, but I think their journey ends at the hands of Clemson. All right, let's go Tennessee, Oregon, Dave.
I'm rolling with Oregon. I think while once again I feel like Oregon gets screwed here with the setup of this bracket. I think Oregon and Dan Lanning. I think they're the best team in the country. Spoiler alert with where I'm going in my bracket, but I'm going to take Oregon here over Tennessee. What about you?
Okay, I'm gonna ride. I'm not gonna push back on the Oregon pick at all. You're gonna have to talk me into Penn State on this next one though if you want me to ride with you.
Okay, here's the thing, Brant. I Ashton Genty is Boise State. Okay, he is Boise State football. He did not win the Heisman. He's got every reason to come out there right now and have the game of his life at home on the blue field. Everything in me from a matchup standpoint says, what's Ashton Genty's like kind of, I don't want to say nightmare matchup. That gives too much credit to Penn State, but like kind of his nightmare matchup is probably Penn State's defense, if I'm being honest. I think that playing on that blue field at Boise State is going to be a challenge. I think this is where James Franklin spits up on himself. He gets excited with the SMU win. He's thinking, look, I can win these big games and I'll prove it to everybody. He's the Ryan Day tough guy, but he's James Franklin. I think he trips over his own 2 feet here. I think Boise State gets it done. And, that's an upset. I understand with the way the seeding is here. They're the number 3 seed, but that it would be a huge upset. But I'm riding Ashton Genty, Heisman runner-up here all the way to the semifinal. What about you?
Okay, Dave. I just have to throw a wrench in your plan just quickly. That game will be a neutral site game.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right. Ooh,
So the end zone will
forget
be
this.
the end zone will be painted blue, but so will Penn
That,
State's probably.
that would have been way cooler. Forget it, man. I'm not changing my pick.
Okay,
I
let's go.
I still want Ashton Genty and Boise State.
Well, you were going to have to talk me into Penn State. Now you don't have to. So I am with Boise State as well on that. All right, Georgia, Notre Dame. I'm curious of where you're going to go here because I will have some pushback.
Look, I do not think that Georgia is a good football team this year. I think they're a great football program. I don't think that this is a great team this year. They are likely going to either be without Carson Beck or a limited Carson Beck, and we saw what the backup looked like in the SEC championship game. Some decent flashes, but also some mistakes. I cannot talk, and you are by all means. I'm going to let you push back because I know where you're going with this. I cannot in any world pick against a Kirby Smart team that has had all of this time off to prepare, to watch, to game plan. and toss that up against a Notre Dame team that I haven't seen beat anybody worth talking about this year. So I have watched Georgia beat Texas twice. Okay. And I just can't do it. And so I don't think I am not high on Georgia at all. In fact, I was about to write them off of even making the playoffs, but I cannot pick against Kirby Smart here because I feel like if I do, I'm going to regret it. Talk me off that that ledge.
I actually thought you were going to pick Notre Dame. That's why I'm kind of upset because I am completely with you on this one. That's tough because I think that Notre Dame has two punches. One punch is Riley Leonard running the ball, and the other punch is Jeremiah Love running the ball. And when those are your two punches, that I feel like that plays into Georgia's hands. Although I can't quite get Haynes King and Georgia Tech out of my mind when I think about that Georgia defense and what Haynes King was able to do. I know you watched that full game too.
I sure did. And Riley Leonard's a better quarterback
than Haynes King. So,
yeah.
And Notre Dame will obviously have a better defense than Georgia Tech. So, I'm fine with going Georgia here. I will caution the Carson Beck injury, Dave. I know that's going to be a whole thing. I don't think the drop-off is as much as people are maybe expecting that to be, though. I think Gunnar Stockton will play fine in this game. I will roll with Georgia with you. So let's go back to the top here. We have Clemson. We have Oregon. Who do you like?
I'm riding Oregon. I think they're the best team in the country. What about you?
It's so hard to watch Oregon and not say that. I think Clemson, by the time they get to this third game, man, they're just not deep enough. Like I do enjoy the Cade Klubnik experience. Like he kind of reminds me a little bit of JJ. Like he's not as good of a thrower as JJ, but he's like the type of guy that's going to put his body on the line. He's going to put the team on his back. He's that type of player. I will ride with Oregon with you, and I'm going to guess you're going to go Georgia on the bottom half of this bracket if I have to.
Look, let's just cut to the chase. We don't need to talk about it.
Yeah,
Are you going Georgia as well?
Let's go Georgia, Oregon.
Is Georgia, Oregon? I'm going to give my thoughts here. I think that this is going to be a great matchup, and I actually believe kind of strongly this is going to be your national championship game. I think it's going to be Oregon, Georgia, and what's intriguing to me is Dan Lanning comes off the Kirby Smart coaching tree himself. And but what Dan Lanning has right now in Oregon is a massive NIL backing with Nike, and that program, talk about ascending and trending in the right direction. Oregon is building a powerhouse. I think that they match up very well against Georgia. I think that they can get past that Georgia secondary. I think they're going to be able to run the football. I think Dylan Gabriel is the better quarterback. I don't care if Carson Beck is there or not. And I think that they're tough up front on the defensive side of the ball. And so for all of those reasons, I will almost equate it to when Kirby Smart finally took down Nick Saban, right? Like that similar type of matchup there. We know the connection with those two. I think Dan Lanning gets it done, and Oregon Ducks, complete an undefeated season and prove themselves to be the best team in college football in their first year in the Big Ten. What about you?
Though that is the Garage Takes bracket, folks. We have Oregon over Georgia in the final. And honestly, I don't think that game's close if they end up playing it. I think that could end up being a 2-touchdown football game.
Hey, if you're still listening, make sure that you like, follow, hit that subscribe button, hop into the comments, let us know. What are your picks? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? You're a fan of one of these teams right here. Go ahead, talk your smack in the comments. Why is your team winning it all? I don't think it's super clear cut this year. I think that we could see some surprises. So let us know what you think.